สวัสดีครับ，大家好，我係阿 Ken。咁今集同大家講下關於疫苗嘅問題。咁可能好多朋友就覺得疫情都過咗咁耐，仲有乜嘢可以講？嗱，唔知大家有冇留意到？我就留意到啦。就主流傳媒包括香港嘅媒體咧，都冇去報導關於最近美國疫苗聽證會嘅內容。就同大家講下今次聽證會裏邊嘅內容，咁希望啲老友記咧就知道多啲。疫苗係咪好咧？可能大家嘅抱住咧都有唔同嘅意見。咁有好多朋友咧，我就覺得佢就比較 buy 疫苗嗰樣嘢嘅。咁其實最主要就係通過討論同埋實質嘅證據咧，去反映下真實嗰個情況，所以亦都係出本集嘅原意。整個疫情裏邊咧發生咗咩事？有啲咩大家係唔知道嘅？疫苗係咪好咧？可能好多朋友咧都有唔同嘅意見。咁當然有啲人係會 buy 疫苗，咁呢啲係好正常不過嘅事情。但係 buy 還 buy，最緊要都係睇返啲實質嘅問題。同埋有啲嘢我哋係咪唔知道嘅？喺疫情裏邊咧，其實有好多嘢，大家因為都恐慌啦，好多時都係聽主流傳媒同埋啲官員片面嘅講法。咁實情係點咧？最緊要就有一個公開嘅討論同埋透明化。嗱，今日咧就同大家講下喺美國5月27號，美國有一個叫做國會聽證會，係關於疫苗事件嗰個問題，咁希望大家就知道多啲。小弟咧只係剪咗部分精華嘅片段，喺描述欄裏邊咧會提供另外一條精華片段嘅影片。咁當然比小弟呢條片咧係詳盡好多，係大概20零分鐘啦。呢個聽證會全場咧係2個幾鐘頭嘅，等大家知道多少少。聽證會講述咧疫苗剛剛面世幾個月咧，其實美國 FDA 同埋 CDC 咧早就知道咧係有心肌炎嗰個問題，但係佢哋咧係一路隱瞞大眾。
Commissioner Janet Woodcock emails then CDC Director Rochelle Walensky noting that, quote, FDA does not concur with the issuance of the myocarditis HAN as written.
聽證會心臟專家 Peter McCarthy 喺佢嘅醫療生涯裏邊咧，只係發現過2名嘅心肌炎病患者，但係喺疫苗面世之後咧，佢已經睇過幾千名心肌炎嘅患者。咁聽下佢點樣講。
Now, the topic today is myocarditis or heart damage from the COVID-19 vaccines. I'm a cardiologist. I know the topic well. I've examined thousands of patients with this problem. Thousands. Before the pandemic, I had 2 patients ever with this problem. There's 1,065 papers in the peer-reviewed literature on COVID vaccine myocarditis. So let me summarize them for you. The first one that came on my radar screen that was alarming came from Washington University in St. Louis, August 18th of 2021. The first author is Verma and colleagues. New England Journal of Medicine. 42-year-old man comes into Washington University Hospital with vaccine myocarditis. The infection is ruled out. It's the vaccine. He's in the hospital. This is one of our best hospitals in the United States. He dies 3 days after taking Moderna. They can't save him in the hospital.
Say, Dr. McCullough, move the microphone just a little bit away from you.
Then one was reported from Korea by Choi and colleagues. This is now a younger man. Just a few days after Pfizer. He comes in the hospital. He dies within 8 hours of being in the hospital. I can tell you, I'm a cardiologist. That doesn't even happen with heart attacks. He dies within 8 hours. I examined all of the slides and the images that the Koreans had showed us. It looked like somebody took a blowtorch to that heart. It was so completely fried with inflammation. His heart was destroyed. These cases, which were widely known at the time, should have gotten everyone's attention. Everyone should have been laser focused on this. We should never have someone die after taking a vaccine that's directly caused to the vaccine. Then Gill and colleagues, Connecticut, published in Archives of Pathology, 2 boys, aged 16 and 17, who die a few days after taking Pfizer. These are teenagers. They're found dead at home by their parents. They're absolutely horrified.
另一名專家佢講出佢嘅研究結論，疫苗裏邊嘅刺突蛋白，特別係一隻 S1亞基，唔係一種良性嘅蛋白。佢係會引起各方面嘅炎症同埋好多問題。我之前出過一條片咧，就關於屍體防腐專家喺葬禮前清理屍體嘅期間咧，就發現咧呢啲屍體血管裏邊咧有白色纖維狀嘅物質，其實就同呢個研究咧係好吻合嘅。
And what I came away with was understanding that the spike protein, the S1 subunit specifically, is not a benign protein. It triggers inflammation, it disrupts endothelial barriers, it induces fibrin resistant to breakdown, and it promotes a lot of amyloid aggregates, which is what I research. These effects impair oxygen delivery, damage blood vessels, contribute to clotting pathologies that manifest with a lot of the symptoms that we're seeing in the long COVID and vaccine injured, which to this day is a huge amount of people. We're talking upwards of 10 to 15 million people in America that are being affected by the consequences of COVID in the long form or vaccine injury. And the typical symptoms are things like heart racing, brain fog, shortness of breath, and post-exertional malaise. In my clinic, I actually use immunofluorescent microscopy to be able to actually see what's going on in the blood and look for these amyloid aggregates. Some as young as teenagers that are unable to stand. Others are previously active adults suffering small strokes without typical identifiable causes. These are not abstract theories. They're the lived realities of my patients in Alabama and beyond. The mRNA injection, heralded as a solution, introduced a novel mechanism, lipid nanoparticles delivering modified mRNA that instructs the cells to produce a stabilized spike protein. Unlike traditional vaccines, this approach resulted in uncontrolled production of the spike protein for an unknown duration and distributes it widely across organs, including the heart, brain, and vasculature, and ovaries and testes. The actual EMA, their assessment of Comirnaty, which is Pfizer's vaccine, noted biodistribution beyond the injection site, contradicting claims that the vaccine stays in the arm. And a recent groundbreaking study using single-cell precision nanocarrier identification revealed LNP accumulation in the heart tissue of mice with adverse proteomic changes in immune and vascular proteins, raising concerns about the cardiac complications that dovetail with what we were seeing when we were looking at the COVID-19 vaccine myocarditis.
另一名專家咧，疫苗問題研究出嚟嘅報告咧，曾經係被威脅嘅。佢講述咧 ，Covid 疫苗咧其實係一種墮胎藥。佢研究出嚟嘅報告顯示咧，疫苗對女性同埋男性生殖系統咧有造成不同程度嘅影響。
Study published on April 21st, 2021 in the digital version of the New England Journal of Medicine. 21 authors claimed the miscarriage rate was 12.6%, but the raw data revealed an 82% miscarriage rate in women vaccinated during the first trimester. This figure mirrors the effects of chemical abortion drugs such as RU486.
呢位專家仲講述咧，藥廠支付龐大嘅資金俾醫學雜誌。
These publications are fundamentally compromised by serious conflicts of interest, ranging from biased funding sources and institutional mandates, and even threats to their medical licenses and board certifications. Between 2020 and 2022, pharmaceutical companies paid $1.06 billion to reviewers at leading medical journals, the New England Journal of Medicine, JAMA, Lancet, and BMJ, thus corrupting the peer review process. At least 6 existing studies, 3 from CDC, FDA, and 2 from Pfizer, revealed major breaches in safety signals for COVID-19 vaccines and pregnancy. These findings were ignored. Conversely, countless independent researchers with no conflicts of interest published findings that contradicted the false narratives and the pharmaceutical industry narratives. only to be rewarded by persecution, censorship, and threats to their medical licenses and board certifications. This is not hypothetical. It happened to me. On February 8, 2025, our team of researchers published a peer-reviewed study in Science, Public Health Policy, and the Law. We identified 37 adverse pregnancy outcomes significantly associated with COVID-19 vaccine, including miscarriage, stillbirth, birth defects, cervical insufficiency, premature rupture of membranes, preterm birth, and death of the newborn. Lin and colleagues in a major journal publication documented that the COVID-19 vaccine traverses the placenta, enters the fetal blood, and bioactively produces spike protein in the placenta and the lining of the uterus. Recently, animal studies revealed the mRNA COVID vaccine causes the destruction of 60% of the ovarian reserve in rats. This catastrophic public health failure was financed with taxpayer dollars and channeled through federal agencies to medical gatekeepers such as the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, ACOG, the American Board of Obstetrics and Gynecology, ABOG, and the Society for Maternal Fetal Medicine, SMFM. These organizations have abandoned their ethics and responsibilities to physicians and patients and must be held accountable. I urge the government to immediately halt all funding to these entities and to end every promotional campaign that coerces or recommends experimental mRNA therapies to pregnant women. This must stop now. Thank you.
另外一名出席聽證會嘅專家講述點解疫苗可以有豁免權。
For every product on the market, you can sue the manufacturer for harm, for design defect claims, meaning the claim that the product could have made safer. I mean, literally, look around this room, planes, cars, pharmaceutical drugs, every one. There's only one product in America. You cannot sue the manufacturer for design defect claim to claim that it could have been made safer, and that are vaccines. I heard, injections, vaccines. My definition of vaccine is any product for which the government needs to give it immunity from harms. To me, that's what a vaccine is, because some prevent infection, some don't. That's what a vaccine is, meaning it can't survive without that immunity, apparently. Why did vaccines get this immunity?
嗱，心臟專家 Peter McCartney 咧喺聽證會裏面咧強調有近千篇參考文獻嘅總結，接種疫苗嘅風險遠遠多於任何理論上嘅好處。
You've asked for us to cite evidence. 3 papers by Nathaniel Mead, who's in the audience today, a former National Institutes of Health writer, 3 of them that contain nearly 1,000 references, so they're all there in these papers, have concluded that the risks of COVID-19 vaccination far outweigh any theoretical benefits. We've heard countless wishful thoughts from Senator Blumenthal and from Governor Green, Dr. Green. But they're wishful. They wish the vaccines would have saved lives. They wish the vaccines would have reduced severity. I can tell you, because you know this, I was one of the few doctors who was on the real front lines of treating acutely sick patients at home. That's how we reduced risk of death, not via a vaccine. The marathon runner, he passed away because he didn't receive effective early multi-drug treatment. It didn't matter whether he took a vaccine or not. Our CDC knew about thousands of patients fully vaccinated early in 2021 dying of acute COVID-19. It was abundantly obvious the COVID-19 vaccines did not reduce the risk of death. I don't want America to be fooled by this hearing today, thinking that the vaccines save lives, because they didn't.
佢仲強調，疫苗唔能夠錯誤地描述為可以拯救生命。
The vaccine cannot be falsely credited with saving millions of lives. We can't allow false drug advertising to be put up on a poster behind one of our public servants. We cannot accept that.
咁其實我所知道咧 ，Covid 嘅疫苗咧，除咗引致心肌炎，仲有艾滋病、癌症。 同埋好多朋友咧，喺近期都可能會出現咧糖尿病、高血壓呢啲咁嘅情況。咁其實咧多多少少咧可能同呢隻疫苗係有關係。咁就希望老友記咧自己注意身體啦。遲下可能我會出一條片咧，係講點樣去排走呢啲疫苗留喺身體裏邊嘅毒性。咁就希望幫到大家。咁今日咧就分享住咁多，就多謝大家。下次再見，拜拜。